Alrighty, what's up, everyone? Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well and had a great weekend. Today is Monday, September the 22nd. We'll go over exactly what we're looking at coming into this week. We do have a little bit of red folder news. We had FOMC last week. That was the major news event that we had. And now that gave us a lot more clear guidance for the rest of the month and into Q4 as well, into the end of the year as well. So, we'll talk about what I'm looking at on the major indices and a bunch of these tech names coming into market open. What's up, everyone? Good morning. What's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning, Hartik, Jeff, B Roots. Good morning, Monty, Victor, Nantali. Good morning, Jen, Sinna, Wayne, Majid, SL, Vate, 50, Martin, Norwin, Carlos. Good morning, Martin, Robert, Juan. Good morning, Miss Reggie, Patel, Chris. Good morning, Daniel, Annabelle, Gear, Telmo, Deuce, Juan, Patrick, Jayden. Yeah, what's up, everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. Let's go on to the weekly outlook and then we'll hop into some of the charts and exactly what we're looking at. First things first, this is going to be the weekly outlook for this week, which is the 22nd to the 26th. As for the key economic events coming into this week, as you can see today, we have a Fed speaker that is speaking at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As for tomorrow, 9:45 flash services, red folder news event, and then we have Jerome Powell speaking at 12:35. So keep that in mind. At least coming to tomorrow, we do have Fed Chair Powell speaking. As for other red folder news events, we just have unemployment and final GDP. And then, of course, on Friday, we do have core PC along with revised consumer sentiment. So, decent amount of news, at least coming into this week, either orange folder or red folder news. As for some earnings, we still have a few earnings left. We have MU here on Tuesday after close. This name is at all-time high, so that's something to keep in mind. And then we have Costco this on Thursday as well. But now let's go on to the indices on the higher time frame. So thesis coming to this week. So this is for the ES on the daily chart. Overall markets moving towards the upside here after FOMC. You can see that we're having a nice push back towards our all-time highs. Key levels that we'll have to mark out now will be key psych levels and whole numbers. What I like to see is ES is all major dips to get bought up for continuation towards the upside. So let's go on to the ES daily time frame. So let's start off on the daily chart here and look at the past 20 to 40 days. As you can see here, higher lows were being built. We're talking about this continuation towards the upside. And then once we're really able to break above this 65.50, we end up having this nice continuation higher. So for the overall markets, you can see higher lows are being built. We're very bullish in the past 20 to 40 sessions. We recently just had FOMC here as well. And now we're continuing to push towards the upside. So for the ES, at least coming into this week, key levels that I have marked out, previous resistance turned into support here. Higher time frame, this is also your FOMC low, 6600. We also have other levels now here as well, which is your FOMC high, right? Previous resistance now turn into support. So this is my first major level support here, which is our 6680s. And then we also have now, it's going to be our last week's highs, 6720. So for the ES coming into market open, what I like to see is a reaction that we have off of these highs and lows. So for the overall markets, if you can maintain above your earnings highs, your FOMC highs, which is your 6680s, I like to see this continue push back towards the upside. Another scenario here is now the break back above your last week's highs for this continued push back towards the upside. So this is going to be the key level that I'm going to mark out coming to market open. It's going to be your 6720, either the break above your last week's highs for continuation, or now price can come back down in towards that 6680 for this continued push higher. Another scenario here as well for a potential move back towards the downside or a mean reversion is going to be underneath your 6680s. Since this is your earnings highs, this very well could turn into a resistance level if we can get back underneath your FOMC high and also this key level of support here. So keep an eye out on this 6680. I'm really only interested in potential mean reversion or a short position if we can get back underneath the 6680. As long as we maintain above it, I'm still bullish and I'm leaning more towards the upside here on the overall markets. If we go on to the SPY chart, SPY chart, as you can see here, thesis markets back at all-time highs. Nice push towards the upside after FOMC. As for the next levels, it's going to be your 670 on the higher time frames. Don't try and short all-time highs. Just look for major dips to long towards the upside. So if we look at SPY here on the daily chart, you can see very bullish in the past 20 to 40 sessions. Fairly similar here as the ES, right? Higher lows have been built, and we're expecting this to continue back towards the upside. If you go back onto the lower time frames now, key levels, exact same levels we're going to have marked out, like the ES FOMC low, along with this FOMC high, which is going to be your 659. So coming to market open here, let's go on to the 15-minute time frame. You can also mark out other levels here as well, which is just going to be your previous day highs. Let's actually just mark out this as our 663. So for the for the SPY coming into today, what I'm going to have marked out is your 659. This is your FOMC high, also your low that we created here on Thursday. So for some more upside here on the SPY, one of two things. I like to see it really maintain above your 660s, which is your FOMC highs for continuation towards the upside. Another scenario now is going to be the break above your previous day highs for continuation towards the upside. So there's two scenarios here for the SPY coming into market open. The only way I'm looking for some downside, or I'm going to be leaning a little bit more bearish, is if now we're underneath really this 659 level, which is also going to be your FOMC high for a potential continuation lower. So key level 659, mark this out here on SPY, and then ES, it's going to be your 6680s. So that's for the ES and the SPY. Now let's go on to the NQ. Thesis for this coming week. Right now, you can see that NQ is having a nice push towards the upside. Once we made a new high, you can see that the 24,200 level is now being used as support to move back towards the upside. After FOMC, you can see that NQ is leading the markets higher, which is something great to see. Now you can expect some nice price action moving forward. So if we're looking at this cues here on the daily chart, as I mentioned, ever since FOMC now and ever since the NQ has made a new all-time highs, we're starting to lead back towards the upside here on the Nasdaq, which is very key, especially for a bunch of these tech names and a bunch of other names here as well for nice price action, because whenever tech's leading, that's when we have the nicest setup. So for the NQ, you can see previous resistance turn into support. This was after FOMC. Nice retest off our previous all-time highs here on the daily chart. You can see on the 1 hour chart here as well. Nice retest level where previous resistance turned into support, and then we end up having nice continuation towards the upside. So for the NQ coming to market open, right, major key level support. We also have another key level support here now as well, which is our 24,650. So this is a higher time frame key level. So what I like to see now coming into this week here for the NQ is the reaction that we have off of your 24,640, and then we also have marked out now it's going to be this 24,800. So coming into today here, you can see higher lows are still being maintained on the NQ. What I like to see is really the reclaim back above your 24,800 for a push towards the upside right off the bat. So that's what we have here for the NQ. If we end up rejecting off this level, we could potentially see a push all the way back down in towards our key level support here in this case, which is your 24,640. So this is the key level here on the higher time frames for the NQ. These are really the two scenarios. I personally like to see it break right off the bat and get back above. Now it's going to be your Thursday's highs here as well. So that's the key levels that I have marked out on the NQ. For the QQQ, fairly similar thesis here, right? If you zoom out, nice kind of retest right off our key levels here for the QQQ off that 584. If you look at this on the 15-minute time frame coming into today, key levels that we have marked out is going to be this really this 594 along with this 598. So scenario number one is the reclaim back above your Thursday's highs. So I essentially have this level drawn out back above your Thursday's highs, 598. We can see this continue push towards the upside. Another scenario is if you come all the way back down in towards that 594, we'd still be bullish for a push back towards the upside. So we'll keep an eye out on the overall indices coming to market open. We do have a little bit of a gap down here, down about 0.5%, and we're opening up right in between yesterday's range. So sorry, we're right in between Friday's range. So we'll keep an eye out on the price action within the first kind of 10 to 15 minutes of market open. As I mentioned, the only way I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside or leaning bearish is if we can get underneath key levels, at least for the QQQ in this case, underneath your 594, which happens to be close to your Thursday's lows. And then I'm going to be leaning a little bit more towards the downside. Besides that, I'm still fairly bullish on the overall markets, and I like to see all major dips be bought up for a pushback higher. Okay, so yeah, that is the game plan, at least for the major indices coming into today. Now I'm going to go on to some tech names that we have coming into this week. Before we do that, I just want to mention that we do have the event that is this weekend. Actually, it's going to start on the 28th. So if you guys haven't registered for the waitlist for that event coming up, we'll have more details coming out, but that is going to be on the 28th this Sunday. Also, if you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop me a like. And if you guys haven't joined the daily watch list, that one's in the description below. Okay, let's first talk about Tesla. Thesis for this week, Tesla holding up nicely here on the daily chart. You can see that right now we are consolidating a bit on the daily time frame after a big move towards the upside. What I like to see is the next level towards the upside. If we can break above 430, the next level will be 450. So Tesla's still holding up. So let's go into Tesla and let's talk about this. As you can see on the daily chart, after this really big push higher, you can see a little bit of consolidation. We're actually flagging here on the daily chart as well. What I'd like to see now is the break above 430. A break above 430, we can see some nice continuation higher. So if you look at this on the 1 hour chart, if you look at this here on the 1 hour time frame, if we were to draw this out, you can see higher lows are being built. Flat top is being formed. What we like to see now is the break above your 430. If we can break above your 430 hold, we can see a nice continued push up and towards 450. So you can see multiple touches here on Tesla. We'd like to see now the break above 430 for continuation higher. So for the Tesla chart, all we're going to do is just mark out that downtrend. We can see higher lows have been being built as well. And now we're just going to mark out our key level of resistance. In this case, what I personally have marked out is your 430. This was our last week's highs. Also a higher time frame key level here as well. I could very much well change this, but yeah, 430 is going to be our key level coming into today. What I personally like to see now is the break above 430. Right above your previous day highs here as well for this continued push higher. So Tesla's going to be one of my main watches coming into today and coming into this week as well for a push towards the upside. As long as we hold key levels, we like to see this continue towards the highs. Now let's go on to the next chart, which is Apple. Thesis coming to this week. Right now, you can see that Apple is having a very nice push towards the highs. Key levels on this are key levels above are 250. This one is having this one has a positive news catalyst, and I expect this one to move back up and towards your all-time highs levels. So for Apple, let's go on to the daily chart here. So we finally broken outside of key levels. Higher time frame looks good for a potential push now back up and towards your all-time highs. But you can see nice base break based above that 240, broke above key levels. Next level is now 250 and back up and towards your all-time highs. Let's go back onto the hourly chart. You can see last week, nice break above your 240 as well. This was one of our top watches here on Friday for a potential break towards the upside. And you can see nice kind of multiple touches here, finally broke above that 240, and now we're having some continuation. So for Apple, coming into today, we just recently had a nice break towards the upside. Key levels is going to be that previous day high, so we can mark this, drag this over, and then the next levels towards the upside, let's actually just redraw these levels, is going to be all the way at this wick. And we could also draw, sorry, we draw at the body, and we could draw out this wick here as well. So these are the levels on Apple coming into today. We're going to mark out that previous day highs. What I'd like to see on this one is really maintain above your 246 for this continued push towards the upside. So 246 retest off of your previous day highs for continuation. Another scenario is the break above your pre-market highs for a push up and towards the upside here as well, which is that 249. So we'll keep an eye out on Apple coming into today for continuation higher after this nice breakout that we had here last week on Friday. Now let's go on to the semis. Let's go on to NVIDIA actually. Right now, you can see that NVIDIA is in between the 164 and 184. Right now, this one is in the middle of the range. What I like to see on this one is a push back towards your all-time highs. Overall, semis are at highs, and this one has been lagging behind. So let's go on to the higher time frame chart. If you go into the daily chart here, as you can see, it's just in between range. So the key levels that we have marked out is at 164. We also have 184 towards the upside. And then we also have equilibrium marked out, which is your 174. So for NVIDIA, you can see just a lot more consolidation after we had earnings. You can see rejected off of your all-time highs. Came all the way back down in towards that 164 key level support. Ever since then, we've just been consolidating in between its range. So for NVIDIA, key levels moving forward is going to be this 174. If you can maintain 174, you can see this nice continued push back towards the upside. Besides that, we're just going to mark out key levels, which are just going to be your previous day highs and also key levels here as well. But for NVIDIA, this one has been definitely a little bit more trickier to trade, just because the higher time frame isn't as clear and we've been consolidating. So key levels for me, I like to see it above your 178 for some upside. So upside, either the bounce off 174 or now it's going to be the break above your 178 for continuation. Besides that, I'll be a little bit more hands off on NVIDIA just because of the range that we've been in until we can have some sort of news catalyst. As for AMD, same thesis as last week. So far, you can see that buyers are stepping in off the 150 key level on the higher time frames. What I like to see moving forward is a break above the 160 for a move back towards the upside. As you can see here for AMD, fairly similar thing to NVIDIA. This one, ever since NVIDIA rejected off her all-time highs, this one's slowly pushing back towards the downside. Now you can see buyers are stepping in off this 150 key psych level. Now what I like to see here is this consolidation, a break, and essentially a reclaim back above your 162. So this is your equilibrium, key level support, key level of resistance. What I like to see is a really maintain above 155, or now it's going to be the break back above your 162 for a continuation back towards the upside. As for downside, break back underneath this 155, you could see some more downside towards your towards your last week's lows, which will be your 150. So that's what we have for the semiconductors. Really, the semis haven't really been doing too much the past few weeks, at least specifically AMD along with NVIDIA. Now let's go on to Meta. Meta bouncing nicely off 750 key level support towards the upside. Now you can see that we're having a nice reaction off this level, being the 790. What I like to see coming to next week is the reaction that we have off of your all-time highs. And as for Meta, you can see key levels that we have drawn out is your 750 along with this 790. Go back onto the 1 hour chart. This is your key level of resistance, which is your all-time highs. We can also mark out this now here as well, which will be equilibrium and your key level of resistance now turn into support. So for Meta coming into this week, we really like to see it maintain above your 165 if you want to see a potential push back up and towards your all-time highs in this case, which will be your 790. So that's what we have marked out on Meta. And then for Amazon, not really too much to talk about on this one. You can see that we're consolidating under the 236 key level on the higher time frames. What I like to see is if we can break back above for a push towards the upside. So as you can see here for Amazon, key levels that we have marked out is that 230 along with that 236. This one's consolidating, so if we do want to see upside, right, higher lows be built, we now like to see the break back above that 236 for continuation back towards the upside. So key levels, 229. You also have your 236, and we just like to see now just kind of this consolidation break here on this ticker. Okay. That's what I have coming into today, at least on some of these names within the Mag 7, at least for the SPY and Qs here as well. The levels that I have are set, being your 598 and all the way back down towards your 594. And of course, for the SPY, right, 663 and all the way down in towards that 659. So now I'm going to go over some other tickers here as well. If you guys do have any charts or any tickers you'd like me to go over now, you guys can drop them in the comments below. Yeah, if you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop me a like. If you guys do have any tickers or any charts you'd like me to go over, you guys can drop them in the chat. If you guys haven't joined the watch list, that is in the description below, the daily watch list. And of course, if you guys haven't joined the wait list for the event, that is at the end of the week on the 28th on a Sunday. You guys can also join the wait list for that as well. Okay, let me go over some names as I answer some questions here as well. What's the settings for the buy and sell for paper on ES? Or if you're talking about TradingView, you can just go onto the trading panel. It's at the very bottom. I think it's this, and you can adjust that. You can just click one of these. I think it's this right here, and then you can just click buy and sell. All right, there's plenty of tutorials on TradingView on YouTube. You can check those out, and I'm sure they explain it fairly nicely. All right, so for Palantir, this was one of our main watches coming to last week, kind of base above that 147. We also had a little bit of resistance here at this 172, but what we were looking for is the break above your 172. So nice break, retest, broke above it, and then we ended up having another retest on the lower time frames for a continuation back towards the upside. So as you can see here, nice kind of base. Ended up retesting this level nicely. And then also on last week, on the day it broke out, this was on Thursday, nice break and retest towards upside. And then on Friday, nice continuation higher. So for Palantir coming into this week, key levels that we can have marked out is going to be the high that we created here on Thursday. And then next levels towards the upside is really back up and towards our all-time highs. So for Palantir coming into this week, what we like to see is a reaction that we have off your 178. If we can maintain above your 178, we like to see now is continue push back up and towards your previous day close along with your previous day highs. And then next levels above that will be your all-time highs 189. So watch for that bounce off your 178 coming into market open here on Palantir. That's what we have coming into today. As for SoFi, key levels that we have marked out on this ticker is our 128.50. So finally, if you guys have been watching the stream for a while, I've been talking about SoFi for a push towards your all-time highs for a minute. This one is one of my bigger holdings for long term, but finally hit our all-time highs key level. What I like to see now is to just maintain above your previous all-time highs, which is your 28.40. So 28.40, as you can see here, we have multiple touches. Now I just like to see maintain above your 28.40 for a continuation towards the upside. So that's what we have marked out here on SoFi coming into this week, 28.40 higher time frame key level. And then we could also mark out if you'd like as well. Now it's going to be your previous day highs, which is your Friday's highs, which is this 29.60. As for AVGO, this one slowly pushing back towards the downside here. Key levels that we have marked out is your 335. We also have marked out is your 342 here as well. So key levels for AVGO that we wanted to see hold was this 355. Once we broke underneath it, now you can see it's staying a little bit heavy, and now it's coming back down into key levels of support. So for AVGO, after this big gap up that we had, really with earnings towards the upside, really last level of support is going to be this 330. So this 330 very key here on the higher time frames. Preferably we can make a higher low off your 330 and hold above your 340 for this continued push back towards the upside. But if we break underneath, next levels is all the way back down in towards that 330. So for AVGO coming to this week, I like to see right bounce off 440 for this continued push higher. Now it's going to be the break back above your previous day highs for this push back towards the upside. If we break underneath this 342, maintain underneath your 342, next level is going to be all the way back down in towards that 330 here on the higher time frames. Let's see. Good morning. Let's see this. Do you think the news around Visa will impact Amazon, Microsoft, and other tech names today? I'll take a look at that here in a second. As for Oracle, do you think Apple has resistance? Yeah, Apple's key resistance is 250 here as well. Let me scroll down. Key levels that we have on Oracle is going to be this 294. So 294 along with this 306. So you can see this is a hard time for key level support here on Oracle. This one ended up gapping up with earnings. Really nice push towards the upside. You can see how many times we've defended your 295 so far. So this is a very key level here. What we like to see now on Oracle is the hold above your 307, which currently you can see we're starting to push back towards the downside. So for Oracle, I would like to see it maintain above your 307 for this continued push higher. Currently, it's trying to break back underneath. So if we can stay heavy, potentially we could see your previous day lows along with this 300 key cycle level once again. But if you can maintain above your 308, we can see this push back up towards your 314 and above. So we'll keep an eye on this one. So far, it's kind of just consolidating here. Eventually, it is going to set back up. But so far, after this big push higher, we're now just waiting for it to set back up once again for a move back up and towards your all-time highs. As for OKLO and a few other tickers here, this ticker, really strong break last week, a nice continuation towards the upside. If you're looking at this on the daily chart, you can see we finally broke above all-time highs and we're now having a super explosive move towards the upside. You can see broke above your all-time highs, higher lows were being built. Nice continuation up and towards your all-time highs and above. 100 key cycle level got hit. Next levels now on this ticker is really your 150 key cycle level. So for OKLO, this one was up 30% or 28% yesterday or on Friday. Now the key levels that you're going to have marked out is going to be your previous day highs. You can also mark out your down close candles here as well. So for OKLO, opening drive play towards the upside, or now it's going to be the break above your previous day highs for continuation towards the upside here as well. So that's what we have on OKLO. As for Hood, another name that's at all-time highs, nice kind of higher lows being built last week for this continued push towards the upside. Key levels now that I have marked out 123.40. So what we can have marked out is this on the higher time frames, and then we could also mark out now it's going to be your previous day high. So for Hood, we can mark this out, drag it over. Key levels 123.50. If we can maintain above this, we can see continuation higher, or now it's going to be above your 124 for this continued push towards the upside here as well. So that's what we have on Hood. And then for some other names, now let's look here as well. We've got some water here. Some of you guys are mentioning Open. So for Open, this one key is going to be your 1050. You can see higher lows are still being built, but what you would like to see now is this flat top. So you can see definitely slowing down just a little bit in between your 1050 along with this 850. You can see so far kind of rejected off this key pivot point now, right? Higher lows you'd like to see being built. Personally, now it's touched this level plenty of times, which I don't really like to see. I wanted to see kind of this flat top break play out. But in this case, a key level support is going to be this 860, and that's still where you'd like to see the buyers step in. So you can see higher lows are being built. Now for the daily chart, you just like to see really maintain above 850 for this continued push higher. Price breaks all-time highs. What are the expectations? Just to continue higher. So whenever we trade at all-time highs, the one thing about trading at all-time highs is we're in uncharted territory, so we don't have any key levels to mark out. So we're going to base it off of intraday price levels, Fibonacci's or key cycle levels on the higher time frames. That's what we're going to have to do. But whenever we hit all-time highs, we have no other levels, so we can expect it to continue higher. Oracle went over most of those ones. Let me go over IWM. IWM also just hit all-time highs here as well. Do you have any recommendations for a laptop that works good with TWS? Having some issues with mine. Any single MacBook works well. You don't really need a crazy MacBook, but I think all the new processors, if you have an M chip, those ones work nicely. I think I have the latest one. I think it's the M3 or M4. That one works. I have the Pro, but I think that's pretty much overkill. So you don't have to get that. You could probably use the Air, and it's gonna work nicely as well. Okay, so for IWM, key levels that we're going to have marked out now is just going to be your previous all-time highs. 242, we finally hit that here on the IWM. Other levels that we have marked out here as well is your FOMC high being that 240. So now we hit your all-time highs. We just hit your FOMC high here as well. You see we're having a little bit of pullback here on the IWM. So for some upside, I personally kind of like to see it maintain above this 242, or now it's going to be that break back above your 244.50s for this continued push back up towards the upside. If we maintain underneath this 242, we could see this push back down in towards your low that we created, 240.50, and potentially all the way back down in towards your 240 here on IWM. So those are the levels that I have marked out on this for me coming into today. As for Circle, key levels that we have marked out on Circle is this 248. So you can see how many touches we've had. This one looks good if we can now reclaim back above your this is your 145 or your 150 key level. You can see higher lows have been built so far. Now what we like to see is the break above your 148 for this continuation higher. So multiple touches here. This is also the area that we broke down from. So if we're looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, if we can now break back above your 150, we can see this nice continued push back towards the upside. So keep an eye out on that coming to market open here for Circle. As for a few other tickers, IWM, you'll send us a notice about the event on Sunday through email. Yeah, we'll have more updates on it this week. The event is going to be on Sunday. So for Coinbase, nice breakout on Thursday. Was not able to close above your 345, and now you can see this one's kind of pushing right back down in towards the area that we broke out from. So for coin, you can see nice consolidation, breakout. Now we're coming all the way back down in towards this key level of support. So let's see if we can maintain above your above your 328 for a potential move back up and towards your 340 here. So that's the level that I have marked out on this name. It's going to be that 328. Let's go over a few more tickers here as well, and then I'm most likely going to get ready for market open. So let's kind of scroll down. Let's answer some questions here. Snapchat, I think Snap's up about 15% or 8% here in the pre-market. Finally starting to move a bit here on Snapchat, but key levels, if we can now get above, is going to be your full gap fill back up and towards your 920. So key level for Snapchat we have marked out is going to be this 880 along with your 920. Where you're going to have marked out in this case as well is going to be your previous kind of highs that we have drawn out, 850. So what we like to see coming to market open, break above your 880s really for this push higher, or it's going to be all the way back down in towards that 850 for this continued push back towards the upside here as well. As for gold, another new all-time highs was made after this nice consolidation. We talked about this one. Key levels is basically your all-time high. So once we had your FOMC consolidation, broke back above key levels, new all-time highs is made. Now what we're going to have marked out is going to be your FOMC high, also your previous all-time highs here. So for gold, as long as you can maintain now, it's going to be above your 3,700. We can see this continuation higher. Okay. Let's see. SoFi, I went over most of those ones. Coin, Hood. If you were to trade Hood, if it breaks all-time highs, I've seen price reject all-time highs and tends to move back down more than it moves up. Yeah, for Hood, you want to buy major dips. So whenever you're trading all-time highs, preferably you want to trade on pullbacks for pushes towards all-time highs. You can see whenever we're not in a very clear trend, usually it kind of just rejects off these levels. So for something like Hood, you can see where it kind of came up, rejection, similar thing now, came up towards all-time highs, rejection once again. So for this ticker, personally, what you like to see now is a clear break above your 124. If you can see that clear break, also above your 123 here as well, you can see this nice push higher. Picking up my new Mac today, nice. Yeah, Apple released some new products. Finally, they at least have a new iPhone. I mean, I'm not sure how you guys feel about that new iPhone. I actually think this is probably the best update in a while. I might go get a new one. Who knows? Hood breaks new all-time highs. Yo, if you can get a burger, where it would be from? That's a good question. At least in Canada, there's honestly not too much in Canada. I do like smash burgers, so something in the US. I don't really have a nice spot it's my like go-to spot, but let's see. All right, let me scroll down here. Let me go over a few more names and then I will get ready for market open here. HIMS. Does anyone know what app or website I'm using? TradingView. I'm doing Forex, but want to start in stocks. I'm a beginner. Which broker do you prefer? I prefer, there's a bunch of regulated, as long as they're regulated. If you're trading stocks or if you're trading options, you're primarily going to be using IBKR in Canada. There's some other brokers as well. If you trade stocks, there's plenty of options. As for HIMS, nice break towards the upside last week. Higher lows have been being built. Key levels that we have marked out, which is 56. So now we like to see him maintain above 56, hold above this level for this continued push back towards upside. So that's a level that we're going to have marked out. As for the event, we're going to have more updates on the event. It's going to be on Sunday. Most likely it's going to be at 12 o'clock. Okay. Let me go on to let me go into my game plan and then I will get ready for market open. Your video Saturday was probably one of your best works yet. Appreciate that one. Hopefully you guys found some value on that. It wasn't really based off technicals, but it was more kind of just psychology and some of the lessons I learned. So if you haven't checked that one out, that one's on my channel. Okay, let's go over my game plan and then I will get ready for market open here. So first things first, as you can see for the SPY and Qs coming to market open, fairly clear levels coming into today here for SPY and Qs. So as I mentioned, either the dip all the way back down and towards that 659, or it's going to be the break above your previous day highs for continuation towards the upside. Why are my contracts adjusted on? So for the ES and NQ, if you don't have them on, you're just going to have these big gaps in the market whenever you have them rolled over. So I just like to have them adjusted on. For at least the futures chart. As for SPY and Qs, it's based off of the dividends. So for the SPY and Qs, for the SPY chart, that's what I have. As for the QQQ chart, similar thing here. I might readjust my levels here in a second, but key levels is going to be this 598, break above 598. We can see this nice continuation higher. Key levels of support is going to be your previous day lows, also all the way back down and towards your 594 here as well for the QQQ. So that's basically my game plan. It's just to wait for the first 15 to 30 minutes. I'm open and playing both sides here on the major indices. I am leaning a little bit more towards the upside just based off the all-time highs in the higher time frames. As for my main watches coming into today, focus in on Tesla of this flat top break. Right, so this is my main focus coming to this week. You can see higher lows are being built. Right, if we can now break above this 430, we can see this nice push up and towards potentially 440 and above. So keep an eye out on Tesla. I still have some positions, a swing position from last week. So we'll see if we can get that nice continuation higher coming into today. For the levels, it's going to be this 430. So keep an eye out on Tesla based off of this 1 hour chart. This one's shaping up nicely here as well, as you can see. Big push higher. Now higher lows are being built. Flat top break is in place. If we can break above, hold above your 430, we can see this nice continuation higher. So Tesla, main watch coming to market open. Now let's go into Apple. This one as well, nice continuation higher. Key levels that we're going to have marked up, previous day highs. If you can maintain above your previous day highs, we can see this continuation up and towards your 249. This one looks good here as well coming to today. Apple 249 or 250 push. We'll keep an eye out on this ticker. As for my other watches, NVIDIA and AMD, just kind of in between the middle of the range, so not too much, not as interested in these ones until we can have a clear higher time frame break or there's some sort of news. So Apple, Tesla, main watch is coming to market open. As for the rest of the tickers, Meta, maintaining above your 760. So I'm still interested in this one as long as you can maintain above your 760 for continuation higher. As for Google, key levels that we have marked out is going to be your previous all-time highs. In this case, what we can have marked out, what we have in this case is your all-time highs, which is your previous day highs. And then we could also mark out this level here as well, which is your 254. Maintains above key levels. We can see right higher lows, right continuation back towards upside here as well. So that's what we have for Google. And then for the rest of the tickers, what we have for Amazon, maintain above your 229, and then Netflix key levels, right? These levels that we have, in the Microsoft, not really too much here as well. So let's go on to Palantir, also one of my main watches above your 178. All these names are shaping up nicely. SoFi looks good if you can get above your 2960 key cycle level. As for AVGO and Oracle, these ones are slowly pushing back, or they're consolidating in the middle of the range, but they still look good on the higher time frames. OKLO is something to keep an eye on just because it's up a bunch. I'd be very cautious trading this one, but key levels now is going to be your previous day highs. And then for the rest of the tickers, Hood, you like to see push up and towards your all-time highs. And then for some other semiconductors that we have marked out here, let's go into TSM really quickly. Circle looks good if you can break above key levels. Costco has earnings this week. And then HIMS even looks good above your 56. So quickly run through it. Tesla, Apple, main watches coming to market open. These ones higher time frames, plus showing some relative strength here in the pre-market. So two main watches to focus on coming to today. And then for the spine cues, we'll just keep an eye out on the first 15 to 20 minutes. I have my levels set. So we'll see really the reaction that we have within the first kind of 15 to 20 minutes, as I mentioned. So that's what we have for the major indices, along with the tech names coming to market open. I'm personally now going to get ready for market open here. If you guys did enjoy that, I appreciate if you guys drop me a like. Let's see this as well. Do we have any books that you wrote? No, not as of yet. Core, we've went over most of those ones as well. Please don't spam the chat. Where do you trade live? If I trade live, in the description below. If you guys want to join the watch list, that's in the description below. As I mentioned as well, the event is coming up at the end of the week. So if you guys haven't joined the waitlist for that, you guys can do so and you'll get more updates here as well. So that's going to be it for me today, and I will see you guys all tomorrow morning. All right. Take care, everyone. Peace.